You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!
And you have offended a Shaolin temple.
You can't handle the truth!
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
Oh boy, I got to take a little bit of time here to talk about Mayor Bloomberg of New York City. First, he comes after my 64-ounce sodas, and now this. Recently, this was Friday, he was on WR Radio talking about marijuana legalization, saying the campaign for legalization was wrong-headed, and the quote here, medical, come on, there's no medical. This is one of the great hoaxes of all time, end quote. And it's just remarkable to have a sitting mayor in the largest city in America so blithely ignorant, so willingly ignorant. You can't make a statement like that any longer without, purposefully trying to be ignorant in this situation. If the statement was couched in context of medical marijuana programs, medical marijuana states, maybe there's an argument to be made. But to deny that there's a medical benefit to cannabis is to just be a horse's ass. There's just no way around it. And particularly ironic when you consider that Bloomberg here, who's trying to, just make sure he's doing it for our own good. Make sure that we're all healthy for our own good. Make sure we do the right things, right? Wanted to ban the large sodas because of the obesity epidemic, right? We want to ban the large sodas because, so much sugar and diabetes and healthcare costs. And we just had a study that showed cannabis helps to fight against diabetes, helps to regulate insulin levels, and people that use it have lower waist ratios than people that don't, even though they consume more calories, including giant sodas. So I found that kind of ironic. Some other things Bloomberg said here, it's just, it's a reefer madness greatest hits. And this is a guy who smoked pot. He was confronted by Normal when he first ran, when he first became mayor. Did you smoke marijuana? He said, you bet I did, and I enjoyed it. How many more of these pot-smoking hypocrites in high office, Barack Obama, do we have to hear from to tell us that we should be punished, or we're somehow wrong, or we're somehow addicted or sick or ill or in need of rehabilitation just because we like to use cannabis? We like to smoke pot, eat a cookie, vaporize a bud, dab a little bit from time to time. Why does that demand the federal government getting into our business and forcing us to be healthy for our own good? They're not forcing the smokers to be healthy for their own good. They're not forcing the drinkers to be healthy for their own good. Now, I know on the smoker thing, they've limited a lot of that as well, as far as where you can smoke and so forth. Just click the little window and it'll go away. Let me get back to Bloomberg. I got a little distracted here for a second. Here was another line from Bloomberg. But the bottom line is, I'm told marijuana is much stronger today than it was 20 or 30 years ago. I don't have any personal experience in terms of today. So that's one problem. Yeah, I agree, Mayor Bloomberg. It is one problem you have no personal experience today. Light some up. These guys that say, oh my God, it's so much stronger. All right, try it. Prove it. If it's so much stronger, why can't we at least legalize the pot you smoked back in the day? Wouldn't that be okay? See, they don't seem to think that what they did back in the day, back when they were in college, when they were coming up through the 60s and 70s, was any sort of thing that stopped them from becoming a billionaire, Mayor Bloomberg, or a president, Mr. Obama, or the greatest decorated Olympian of all time, Michael Phelps. These people do just fine under their marijuana use, and to continue to treat us differently is to continue to discriminate against us. And this is nothing but discriminatory statements. The marijuana is much stronger today. So that means we should discriminate against people who use it? The beer is much stronger today. Used to be you could only get 3-2 beer and Miller and Coors, right? Now you got some of these microbreweries put out these strong super porter ales or whatever the hell they're called. I don't know alcohol. but that are much stronger, much more potent alcohol content than, yes, your father's Woodstock beer. I get so tired of that. It's stronger so much as being a reason to discriminate against us. But if that wasn't bad enough, this next one from Mayor Bloomberg, this is the one that reveals the entire strategy, the entire agenda of these people. I'll just read you the quote first. And number 2, drug dealers have families to feed. If they can't sell marijuana, they'll sell something else. And the something else is going to be worse. And the push to legalize this is just wrong-headed. End quote. Drug dealers have families to feed. If they can't sell marijuana, they'll sell something else. And something else will be worse. So we've got to let them sell marijuana. It's a jobs program. It's harm reduction for criminal enterprises. We've got to give marijuana to the criminals to sell, or they'll sell harder stuff. They're openly admitting that we arrest 750,000 people a year, 50,000 of them in New York City alone. We do this to make sure drug dealers have something safer to sell. That's the mayor of New York City openly admitting if they can't sell marijuana, they'll sell something else that's going to be worse. It's a harm reduction program for drug dealers. But here's the problem with that little analogy, Mayor Bloomberg. Who's going to buy the something else? I smoke pot and I like it a lot. Not so crazy about the meth. Not so happy about the cocaine. If we take the marijuana market away from the local dealer, whoever the guy is, and the guy comes around with coke or meth, who's he going to sell it to? There are 26, 27 million marijuana smokers in America. There are about 3 to 4 million users of all other illicit drugs combined. Who are they going to sell it to, Mayor Bloomberg? So ridiculous. They think that drugs are just a substitute of good, that, well, if I can't get pot, I guess I'll do heroin. Gosh, the pot moved into the pot stores, and now that the pot is legal, I'm going to go buy heroin from the illegal drug dealer rather than go get the pot I like at the legal store. In what twisted Bloombergian fantasy does this make any sense whatsoever? Here's another little Bloomberg gem. Quote, but they say, oh, well, it's not going to hurt anybody. It doesn't lead to dependency. Of course it does. And you can argue about recreational things, but it's a very slippery path. A very slippery path. Do you know how many people I've seen slip away from opioids because of their use of cannabis, their medical use? How many people who have been able to kick hard drugs because of their medical use of cannabis? If it's a slippery path, it's a slippery path away from pharmaceuticals that are probably in your stock portfolio, Mayor Bloomberg. Now, opposing the mayor's views, this is a story off of CBS News. They bring up the New England Journal of Medicine poll on May 30th that showed 76%, 3 out of 4 international doctors surveyed agreed with the use of medical marijuana. 3 out of 4 doctors surveyed. Remember those old commercials? 3 out of 4 doctors recommend whatever. Yes, 3 out of 4 international doctors recommend the use of medical marijuana. There's a hypothetical case of a woman with metastatic breast cancer, and 3/4 said they would have prescribed her medical marijuana. Got 19 states. We got the District of Columbia that allow people to use medical marijuana. We got Washington and Colorado that allow people like me to just use marijuana. No excuse necessary. The Pew Research poll has shown in America that we're at 52% of Americans believing that marijuana ought to just be legalized. We've got 48% of the American people who have admitted to have used marijuana themselves, admitted to an anonymous pollster calling on the telephone representing the federal government, asking if they've ever broken state and federal laws regarding contraband. And 48% of Americans agree, yes, I broke that state and federal law. I broke that law and I used marijuana. There's got to be more than 48% people. That's all I'm saying. And this is increasing in every generation, even the silent generation, those people between Great Depression, World War II, your Bloomberg age people, even them, it's gone from 17% support for legalization in 2002 to 32% support in this March 2013 survey. Almost double the support in the span of a decade amongst the greatest that silent generation, that Great Depression, World War II people. So it's just inevitable. Bloomberg is on the wrong side of history on this one, and it's just it's sad to watch this, especially as people, continue to disregard all of what are the true hoaxes. The gateway drug, it's a slippery slope. Really, Mayor Bloomberg? It's a slippery slope away to the dependency. You are not in agreement with the people. The poll, the most recent poll that asked about this, said 51%, only 38% of the people believe that pot is a gateway drug leading to the use of hard drugs. Only 32%, less than a third of Americans now, believe there's something morally wrong with smoking pot. But this is the typical Bloomberg, and you get this on the hard left, on the liberal side, of wanting to use government to take care of us, to do something for our own good, and force us to be healthy for our own good. And a lot of us in the pot smoking community didn't really pay much attention to this when it was being employed against cigarette smokers. In fact, we kind of agreed with it, some of us. We didn't like the cigarette smokers. And yay, we've got smoke-free bars to watch bands. And yay, the smokers can't be contaminating up the rooms. And yay, they have to go outside. And now they're coming for us, and it's going to be the same sort of situation. Talking with Chloe Villano, talking about how regulation is turning out to be now, well, no social clubs, no socializing, because we allowed this stigmatization to take place regarding smoke in general. Smoke like tobacco smoke is being allowed to be used against us by people like Mayor Bloomberg, like people like Governor Hickenlooper here, that want to just shove us back in the closet for our own good, for the children's sake, whatever excuse it might be. And we're not going to stand for it any longer. We deserve the same rights as beer drinkers. We deserve the same rights as cigarette smokers. We shouldn't be forced into our homes with the curtains drawn out of public view. We deserve to have our festivals like the beer festivals. We deserve to have our stores like the cigar stores. We deserve those same rights. And we not stop until we get them. We're beginning to get them here in Colorado, beginning to get them in the state of Washington, and we're going to continue to do this to all 48 states. And I'm going to be touring across 6 or 7 of them this summer. Check me out coming out this weekend to the Texas Regional Normal Conference. You can find out more at dfwnormal.org. Get the information on the Texas Regional Conference. I'm doing 2 presentations and emceeing at 3 events, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll do the 420 radio drug test. We'll also do some live broadcasts there from Froggy's in Fort Worth, Texas. And then the following week, it's the tour with the FNAs. Check out rad-r.us/420tour for all the information. Wow. The hour went fast. Thanks for joining us here in Lakewood, Colorado at Arrowhead Studios. Stay tuned. Hour 2 comes up next with Paul Armentano, the leading expert on THC and impairment. For Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at RadicalRuss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it,